Yay! It's everyone's favorite Kong adventure. You know, King Kong Lives. The film that undermines the whole plot and point of the original. The one where Kong bangs a gorilla lady instead of a woman. Not that he ever did bang a woman, but oh my god, did he? Nominated for over 9 Academy Awards, including Best Piece of Art Ever. Hell, it didn't even need to be nominated. They should have just handed the statues to the directors and producers at their very own homes, whilst proceeding to shower them in women and money, and asking them to attend a giant orgy. Yeah, this movie sucks. I'm getting quite tired talking about trash lately. Not that the last film was trash, but it's considered trash, sadly. Despite receiving a lot of backlash from both fans and critics, and the 76 reimagining racked in the dough big time, making over 52 million at the box office. So of course they decided to follow it up with a sequel. 10 years later. 10 years after Kong became no longer relevant in pop culture. After the stars of the first film went on to bigger and better things. After the action-adventure genre had been reinvented thanks to Spielberg and Lucas. How did it fare out? Well, the film made 4 million. Aside from stock footage from the opening of the film, no cast members returned for this sequel, not even Rick Baker as Kong. Instead, we have a new cast, a new Kong, and a new romantic lead. After reminding you what happened at the end of the previous film, as if to drive it into the ground of how undermining it is now, it's revealed that Kong did not die, but was instead in a coma for 10 years. I suppose you could say it never really showed Kong dying at the end of the last film, but the stop the heartbeat sound effect really hit the nail on the head, don't you know? Aside from, well, why the hell did they keep them alive? Did you just have a sudden change of heart shooting them down? Did all the soldiers just simultaneously burst into tears and regret their moral choices? So in the present day, a scientist played by Linda Hamilton is overseeing the project to give Kong a synthetic heart, but he needs a blood transfusion. But it just so happens that Lady Kong, yes, that's what she's credited as, just happens to be hanging around the Amazon and is quickly captured and brought back to New York, where Kong reawaking, sensing, I don't know, the Force or something, and falls in love with the female gorilla and goes on a kind of rampage, I guess. In fact, the humans hunting down Kong cause more damage than the gorilla itself. At the end of the film, Kong defends his pregnant. No, they don't show the sex scene, but I guess the giant gorilla's reproduction system are much more advanced, because the film takes place over the course of about a week from the military and is killed in the ambush, but not before cradling his newborn son in his hand for the first and only time. I really don't have much to say about this film. It's probably the most empty Kong film to this day. With a decade between films, you'd think the filmmakers would be able to come up with a sort of original plot, instead of just taking the standard third act of a Kong film and stretching it into an hour and a half. The film's budget was drastically lower from the previous film, and boy does it tell, especially in terms of Kong. No longer Kong is bipedal, instead he's on all fours, actually first in a series actually. The suit, while not terrible, is nothing compared to the 76 film. He's much fatter, looks heavier, and the suit looks more bland instead of compact and thinner in the original. The new one looks very baggy and heavy, making suit actor Peter Elliott look like he's struggling in the action scenes. Same goes for Lady Kong. The suits look pretty much identical to one another, making it hard to distinguish which one is which. Linda Hamilton does a fine job, but she's better than this. She's clearly not giving it her all, and after the smashing film that was The Terminator, you'd think she'd pick up on a superior film to star in. Her character goes through the basic conventions of a Kong lead. Only difference is that she treats Kong as more of a friend than a love interest, but this goes nowhere. There's never really a moment the two share on their own. Instead, she just runs around telling army officials, stop shooting, stop, he's innocent, or being held back by the male lead played by Brian Kerwin, who's there. No offense to the actor or anything, but he's not special and extremely forgettable. Speaking of forgettable, there's the Colonel of the film, who acts as the main antagonist. The minute you hear Colonel and villain in the same sentence, you know perfectly well what his character amounts to. So is this the worst film in the Kong franchise? Probably. Does that mean I hate it? No, I don't hate it. I know this film is awful, but I do find some enjoyment in some areas of the film, okay? In particular, the relationship between the Kongs. Despite there being no dialogue whatsoever, the emotions are clearly conveyed. Peter Elliott shines in these scenes, despite being nowhere near as good as Baker. He pulls through. Suit acting is no easy task, believe me, I know that. And I do actually like the ending of the film. The first time I saw it, I actually cried. Granted, I was 7, but I did manage to pull at my heartstrings. It's a Kong film that decides to go in a few different directions, but doesn't manage to break any boundaries. It's a crap film that hurt not only the last film, but the whole franchise, as it would be nearly 20 years until the next film was released. King Kong Lives ironically proved to be the final nail in the franchise's coffin. Do I recommend it? To hardcore fans, I recommend checking it out. Eventually. As long as you're wankered.